All right, y'all. Let's do the next chapter. What men don't want women to know. So, didn't know if y'all would be interested, but looks like you might be. So let's go. Let's go. All right. So the next chapter is called. Okay. Well, I always tell you what the previous chapter was. Previous chapter dealt with. I don't remember actually. Let me go back here. Okay. We talked about masturbation. We talked about guys being with prostitutes. We talked about that and how there's zero guilt when they indulge in such behavior. Zero. Excuse me, zero guilt. So let's talk about bachelor parties because that's the next chapter. Okay. You've heard the crazy rumors, strippers, orgies, prostitutes. That's why you followed your man here to Las Vegas. That's why your ears pressed against the hotel room door. You listened closely. Yahtzee, a voice called out. Isn't that your man? Gosh, he's so cute. Parcheesi, someone else cries. Men giggle with delight. What a wondrous time they're having. How sweet and mellow they all are. Wake up, you're dreaming. It's time to brew yourself a hot, steaming cup of Smith & Doe reality. We'll begin by dispelling any misunderstandings you may have on your side of the fantasy barrier. There's no such thing as a mellow bachelor party. No such thing. Okay? So let's get that out of our fantasy-filled minds. I am looking for something. Where did I put it? There it is. Okay, good deal. All right, let's go back. Okay. So, I got this thing on the book, okay. All right. I'm trying not to yawn. I'm sorry, guys. You know, the thing of it is I have insomnia real bad. You'd think I'd crash and burn when it's time to go to bed. Oh, God, I wish. Anyway, there's no such thing as a bachelor party without strippers and prostitutes. There's no such thing as a bachelor party without sex. I'm going to let that sink in. Y'all got that? Okay. A bachelor party isn't a bunch of old pals getting together for a few drinks, telling anecdotes of days gone by, and wishing the lucky guy all the best with the new little woman. A bachelor party, and this is in bold print. A bachelor party is a bunch of old pals getting together to get zonked out of their gourds, bullshit each other about the good old days, and watch the lucky guy cheat on the new little woman before even slipping the ring on her finger. Forget the hope that your man's bachelor party will be different. It won't be. Y'all got that? It won't be. Smith & Doe actually interviewed a woman who tried to tell them that her fiancé, who was spending the weekend in Vegas at his friend's bachelor party, would be unaffected by the presence of prostitutes. We did not attempt to dissuade this woman of her delusion. Perhaps it is better, we thought, to let her remain in her simple fantasy than to try to explain the seemingly inexplicable. Smith & Doe did, however, interview her fiancé a week after the party. Boy, his friends had a wild time. After taking numerous hits of ecstasy, they went to one of the seedier strip clubs until 5 a.m., then brought a bunch of the girls back to their hotel. They all had sex in one form or another except him. At least that's what he told us happened. Yeah, right. We know better. So why would he lie to Smith & Doe, you ask? Men, when attempting to guard the most coveted of secrets, that is, cheating on one's fiancé only weeks before the wedding, will lie to their closest of friends, never mind two unfamiliar disguised male researchers. This is a common and accepted practice because all men know that the best way to lie is to make the lie real by telling everyone the same story to actually believe the lie. In the course of our painstaking, grueling research, Smith and Doe were forced to attend countless bachelor parties. At every one, the groom-to-be had some form of sexual interaction with a prostitute or stripper. At every one. But don't worry, your man will be different. Hello, still in that Yahtzee dream? Bachelor parties are simply an excuse for a group of men sworn to secrecy by an unspoken oath instilled at birth to get together in an isolated arena. Do you think they fly out of town for the scenery? Hire a bunch of prostitutes and do their best to convince the reluctant groom to accept the privilege of being first to go into the bedroom, therefore becoming the envy of those who wind up in third, fourth, or fifth position. In every case so far, the groom has given in, followed by every other guy, one at a time. The process usually takes about 2 hours. In bold print, it says, "How can my husband, the future father of my children, do such a thing?" The answer is quickly and hopefully with a condom. The Smith and Doe word of the day is detachment. Men can completely detach themselves from any type of sexual activity. Y'all remember me telling you that? Right. They treat it like they would eating, they treat it like they would, that they're eating an apple or walking outside to get the mail. It is an activity that means nothing and is almost immediately forgotten. Okay? And let me also intervene with this commentary. If your man does not love you, but he married you and had children with you, and he's been with you for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years or more, sex to him within your marriage is just an activity. It means nothing. You know why? Because his heart is not involved. Only his pecker and his greed and laziness. He wants you to be his maid. He wants you to be his cheerleader, his therapist, his baby maker, baby dispenser. He wants you to be his bestie and everything. And he's just going to sit on his throne and soak it all in. And give you very little in return if he doesn't actually love you. He cannot love you through his dingling. He has to love you through his consciousness and through his heart and through his soul. So all those nights of making passionate love in this long-term relationship or marriage or whatever you all got going on, and he's looking in your eyes, if he's not a narcissistic dead person, all of that is an act if he is not in love with you. Women see sex as intimacy. I feel closer to my partner because of oxytocin. I'm getting my oxys mixed up, okay? Oxytocin and dopamine. It's got you feeling closer to him. Unless he loves you, it is nothing to him. It is a physical thing. It is like going to the gym, you work out, you take a shower, you go home. You don't pine for the gym. You don't call the gym to see if it misses you. You know, he doesn't do any of that. He doesn't drop tears from his eyes because he's not at the gym. He did what he had to do and he walked out the door. Same thing with you if he doesn't love you. And guess what else? Even in cases where he does love you, and we learned that through this book, even in cases where he does love you, if there is a possibility that he will get away with being with someone else, 9 times out of 10, he will do it. 9 times out of 10, he will do it. And again, I'm going to dispel the myth that men have extraordinarily high sex drives. Bullshit. And triple layers of bullshit. Their ego demands that they screw everything. not their sex drive. Because if that was the case, they would have to go to the hospital to get some kind of medicine to calm their sex drive down. They wouldn't be able to concentrate at work or at school or in college, or they couldn't focus on anything if that drive was so overwhelming. Their ego demands that they stick it in as many people as humanly possible. And in some cases, not just women. Moving right along. Smith and Doe's fail-safe five-step guide to stopping your man from participating in bachelor parties. Remove each of his limbs and tie his torso to the bed. Administer a frontal lobotomy, then remove his testicles and or penis. Administer immorally high doses of barbiturates. Distract him with a porn movie and unload him on the spot. Disconnect the phone line so none of his friends can ever call him again. Sounds unrealistic? Unfortunately, it is. There is no way to prevent your man from being part of this debauchery unless you can physically stop him. And in case you're wondering what kind of woman would be cold-hearted enough to deprive her man of a wonderful celebration with his dearest and closest friends, the answer is a Smith and Doe educated woman. Okay. Yeah, so that is kind of a shorter video. I mean, not video, a shorter chapter. Almost at the end, actually. Yeah. And then after this chapter, which I just completed, it will be the Smith and Doe fidelity test. Let me see something here. Fidelity test. Okay. Interesting. So the next chapter is going to be a bunch of questions for you. It's basically a quiz. All right? So if you want to know if your fiance was dipping his wand in somebody else, is orange juice orange? There's your answer. Okay? We'll get to the next chapter, which is going to be a bunch of questions. And you can get your pen and paper. We'll do it next time, not this time. But you can, I'll ask you the questions and you can write down the answers. And we'll see what happens with that. All right? Much love, darlings. Y'all be good. Stay safe. Be careful. No drinking and driving. No texting and driving. Nothing on your phone is worth dying for. Got that? Love you guys. Take care. Bye.